Well, hi, my name's Darryl Davis. I want to share a personal story with you that I haven't really shared it in such a big format like this. I've shared it just few times with a smaller group. And I'm going to share, if you don't know who I am, I'm going to share that because it's relevant to the story. And it may sound like I'm bragging, I'm not. I just celebrated my 60th birthday, and I've built a really successful coaching business in the real estate space, helping realtors design a life and career worth smiling about. I've written 3 books from McGraw-Hill, which is awesome, and a whole bunch of other accolades. I do not have to work. I could retire today, so financially I've been blessed as well. But I continue because I'm committed to giving back to the industry that has literally helped save my life. Which brings us to what I want to share with you. I'm sure you've heard it in the United States. We have, when it comes to government programs, we kind of have 2 camps. We have the people that say that it's essential for people who are less fortunate, et cetera. And then there's the other camp that says, yeah, but by giving these government programs, it makes people more dependent on the government, and they should learn how to be self-sufficient. And because of that philosophy, we've just passed this year the big, beautiful bill, which technically, this is not political, this is factual. Technically, it has cut food stamps by 50%. It has gutted Obamacare, which we now see. I've seen it, and I'm sure you have letters from the insurance companies saying the rates are going up 30%, 50%, in some cases even 100%. And so it seems like the side of the party, and Medicare, Medicaid, that's been decimated. And we've seen that, so it seems as though the side that wants to make people less dependent and cut their programs, that's winning the conversation. And I get it too, because to help support those programs, food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid, Obamacare, all of that, the people who do have money financially, middle to high wealth people, they're paying for it. They're offsetting it for those less fortunate people. And I get some people that have money resent that. My story, when I was 14 years old, my dad passed away, and my mother had a nervous breakdown. So it literally fell upon me to grow up very quickly and to bury my father, meaning I had to go to the funeral parlor and look at books of flowers and pick them out and go down in the basement. I remember it was in East Rockaway, the funeral parlor, and they showed me the different caskets, so I had to pick out the casket for my dad, and they helped me write the obituary, and I picked out the headstone and all that stuff, things that a 14-year-old probably shouldn't do. And so I grew up pretty quick. And so I became an emancipated minor at 16, and which meant I was now considered an adult, so I could live on my own. I got my own apartment. I was working odd jobs, so I was still going to high school. And but I was the cool kid in high school because, I had the apartment. So there was that. But I was able to get the apartment because I went on social services. I also got food stamps. And then because of great Republican in office, President Ronald Reagan, he had helped support and created these wonderful government grants, another handout program for people who are less fortunate and be able to go to college. So I got Pell Grants and Sony May Grants, and I can't remember all the names, but I was able to go to college, CW Post College in Long Island, a great college, for free. which was fortunate because the reason why I even went to college was because I was at risk of being homeless at the time and I didn't have a place to live. So I had the thought, well, if I can get a dorm at college, then I'd have a place to sleep. While I was there, I figured I should learn and get an education. So I took a course on how to become a real estate agent. It was the actual license qualification course that was being offered in my college. So I took that and I wrote a term paper on REITs and really got into real estate. And I started working real estate, became very successful, then opened up an office that became number one in the marketplace. And now 30 years I've been training agents, have written my 3 books, and I have a very blessed life. And all I can tell you is it's because of those government handouts that helped save my life. Because without those grants to go to college, without the food stamps, without the help to pay my rent so I can still go, without those, I don't know where I would be, probably dead at this point. What those programs did for me, they weren't handouts. They created a seed or created an opportunity for me to design a life worth smiling about. Because here's what I know. Money doesn't buy happiness, but the lack of money, the stress of bills, the stress of surviving creates unhappiness. It alters a person where they're forced to survive and maybe not make the best decisions for themselves or for humanity for that matter. I get it. There's people that take advantage of the system. I own over a dozen properties and I deal with tenants all the time and I see people who abuse the system. But we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater because there's people that need those programs. There's people that need help from people who are more fortunate. Yes, I get it. Us wealthy people have to pay into the system, you know. We got to help contribute because that's where it comes from. It comes from our taxes or everything else. I pay a higher health insurance premium because I know my bigger number is to pay into Obamacare for somebody that can't afford it. But hey, I'm blessed. I can afford it. I've got the money. How much money does a person need? And by the way, work in the system, we see it now. We see in our government right now, turn on the TV, and you can see right in front of our eyes how there's politicians who are using loopholes to make the less fortunate even more unfortunate and to help them become wealthier. Hey, I'm not against making money. I'm pretty good at it now. But why don't you not be so selfish and give a little bit to the people who can't? Because there's people that need help. You know, here's the last thing I'll say. And maybe it's more of a question. To ask yourself, which type of person are you? When you see somebody living on the street, eating in a dirty area, sleeping in their feces and their vomit, you have a choice. You have 3 choices. You can keep on walking because it's uncomfortable to see. Maybe you don't trust that it's really a person in need and you don't want to help somebody who's gaming the system. That'd be one option. Second option is you can maybe throw them a few dollars so they can have something to eat. Or if you're afraid that they're not going to use the money to eat, then maybe go buy them a meal. Or what if just sitting and having a conversation with them to let them feel more like a human being and not a degenerate? That's another option. The third option is you can go over to them and yell at them and say, get the hell up. This is America. There's plenty of opportunities. Stop living on the street and living on the government. The government pays for these streets. The government has to clean these streets. You're taking advantage of the government. Get up and get to work, and then maybe we'll help you. So my question is, which are you? I choose to give the money because I've been blessed, because somebody gave it to me. Anyway, I don't know if this made any difference. I really don't, but I hope it did. If you watch this entirety, thank you very much. If you have any negative comments, just remember what your mother said. If you got nothing positive to say, don't say it at all. Just unfriend me. Because if this didn't speak to your heart, I don't need you in my friend list. Okay? Anyway, to the rest of you, God bless you. And let's step up as a nation and help people in need, because our current government doesn't seem to care about it.